We've got the Nissan Armada, and this thing is big.
Thirsty, too. I like a good grab handle, Andrea.
I know, for this baby you
All
do.
right.
Here we go. A beast of a V8.
I like the sound, though. It does sound pretty cool. So, we kind of spoiled it already. There's a V8 under here. What is under the hood, Andrea?
A 5.6-liter V8 with a 7-speed automatic transmission. 400 horsepower and 413 pound-feet of torque. Standard four-wheel drive in Canada. Two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive options are available in the U.S. To every tank of fuel, you get about 628 kilometers, 390 miles.
All right, we have some comments coming up and questions also in Questions, Coffee, and Cars about this engine, and is it at a step with the rest of the market when it comes to body-on-frame trucks. But right now we're going to get into the key standard features because this thing is loaded.
The base trim comes with a 12.3-inch touchscreen with navigation, a 7-inch instrument cluster, intelligent around-view monitor, wireless Apple CarPlay and wired Android Auto, a wireless charger, power driver and passenger seat with lumbar support, driver seat memory, heated front seats, a heated steering wheel, a moonroof, and a power liftgate. Available features on the top trim include ventilated front seats and heated rear seats.
Four-wheel high, four-wheel low, snow, tow. What else can we put it in?
You got to put it in S for subscribe. And if you can hit that notification bell, you'll be notified when all of our videos drop, and then you can watch them.
And we do this, the couple car review twice a week. The first one drops on Wednesday.
We put another one out on Saturday.
So make sure you like and subscribe. Most important thing is to hit that notification bell, but also follow along on Instagram. It's Motormouth_Andrea to get a sneak peek behind the scenes. For me, it's Motormouth_Auto, and the links are below the like button. This video is brought to you by Canada Drives. Shop online for your next used vehicle and enjoy the convenience of to-your-door delivery and the confidence of a 7-day love it or return it guarantee. Visit canadadrives.ca to learn more. The engine does sound good, Andrea.
It does sound good. Well, a V8 always sounds great.
Do you know
when have we ever been in a V8 that doesn't sound great?
Do you know what that sounds like? It sounds like the cash register ringing up at the same time.
It certainly does.
Yeah, especially we have the highest fuel prices in North America this week.
Yep.
The week I picked up this and I said, oh man, our timing is really bad on this one.
Yeah, we're just going to have to suck it up when we have to fill it up and take it back. It's just the way it is, which brings me to the point, why would I want to fill it up? It would cost a fortune each week.
Because you want to drive an Armada, you want a body-on-frame truck. This is also sold in other parts of the world as the Nissan Patrol.
Yeah.
So it's marketed as a different product here in North America, essentially the same vehicle. Body-on-frame trucks, there is a special case use for these kinds of vehicles. Maybe you live in a rural area, crappy roads, a farm, something like that. But the real reason, I don't think many people do this, but they like the idea of being able to tow.
Yeah, and this has got a great tow rating of 8,500 pounds. So that is pretty amazing if you need it for that. What this does well, though, is it handles actually pretty well for a body-on-frame truck. I mean, it's not a unibody design, so you don't get that refined drive, but I actually think it's pretty good. I like the higher seating position that is in here. I feel like I have this commanding view of the road and people move out of the way when I come.
You know what? The thing about a body-on-frame truck is they can do a lot to insulate the cabin from the chassis, and they've done a very good job with that. I like the laid-back approach of driving big trucks. Whenever I have a big truck like this, I just kind of get into going with the flow. You're never in a rush. You just take your time. You sit back and enjoy all of this space.
And of course, the power is incredible on this. There is never a lack of it when you're on the highway and you need to pass quickly, you know, being such a large vehicle. So that's a real bonus. So like I said, it does a lot right. There's a lot of positives to this Armada.
And we do have some people that are making comments coming up in Questions, Coffee, and Cars about the reliability. I think it's very reliable as well, especially when you're using more primitive kind of vehicles. So body on frame chassis with basically pickup truck components and a V8 engine, been around for a long time, it's more reliable.
This has got a 4x4 system with a 2-speed transfer case, 4 high, 4 low. and it can just tackle all different kinds of terrain. It's a very capable vehicle, whether you're taking it off-road or you're just dealing with deep snow in the wintertime.
It doesn't have an adaptive suspension, doesn't have an air suspension, but they're trying to keep the price down. So we'll get into that as well when we go through it. I like the new look. So they did this, what was it, last year? They came out with a new look. It looks like a really badass, pumped up, went to the gym Nissan Rogue.
I think that is my very favorite thing about this is the exterior design. It's rugged, it's bold. It comes standard with LED headlights and LED taillights, LED fog lights. It has 20-inch wheels, 18-inch in the US, but available 22-inch wheels. You can get chrome accents, different trims. You can get black exterior accents and a black grille instead of chrome. So there's a real variety. You know, you can make it your own the way you like it.
So I always like driving the Armada. By the way, they do sell it as an Infinity. It's called a QX80. Do yourself a favor, save the money, just buy this fully loaded. It's pretty much the same vehicle without the quilted interior, even though these do have quilted seats. It's not quilted as much, but I like the fact that they've upgraded the head unit. Finally, it was ancient technology in the old one. This is the latest Nissan stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this comes with so much standard equipment in Canada, and this 12.3-inch touchscreen is easy enough to use. You can also control it from the center console dial, which we actually like, kind of the best of both worlds, having the touchscreen and the center console. You don't have to touch it. I actually do find the touchscreen to be a little bit far away, but it makes sense because you'll use the dial.
Well, this is a Big E, so you get a lot of storage space, big glove box, really big door cards here as well, and a massive storage area. Actually, not that massive. It's pretty big, but
it's deep.
Yeah, it's fairly good. But this is very wide. That's what you really notice when you drive in a truck like this is the actual space. Like I can put my arm straight out here.
No, I gotta say these seats are super comfortable. I mean, on a long trip, you'd really enjoy this. Just sit back, enjoy the ride.
See, you're getting into the way I am.
Yeah.
You just take it along.
Take it easy.
You cruise along. So this was developed as a Nissan Patrol and then marketed as an Armada here, which was built really for markets where they utilize off-road capability like this, which is why you don't get a panoramic roof. If you get a pano roof, you get a lot of body flex, so they've just gone with a standard sunroof. And I actually like it because I like it like this. Well, here's me getting into the back seat. Nice thing is you can get this with either captain's chairs or a bench seat, which is fantastic. Now the seats sit up nice and high. It's an almost perfectly flat floor, and the seats recline back and forth, but they don't track fore and aft.
Now this offers a lot of second row legroom. You're not going to find it to be a problem, but the Suburban, the Expedition, and the Yukon all offer more space.
So here's me getting into the third row. Climbing in, your knees sit quite high, the floor is quite high, and because you can't caddy those seats forward, there isn't much in the way of legroom for an adult, but there is good headroom, and the cushion is pretty good.
And there are better options for third row legroom. Once again, its main competitors, like the Yukon, the Suburban, and the Expedition, all offer more space.
And the cargo area behind the third row really isn't that big, but you want more space? Don't worry, there's fully automatic folding third row seats that go into the floor, and then you can flip the other seats forward, and it is a big vehicle and it's perfectly flat in here.
Same thing again, the competitors offer more space.
All right, I have some questions about the competitors, also those second row seats and more. Let's get into it.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
We love the Armada. My wife has a 2008 fully loaded, and rather than oil change and gas, which this car loves, we haven't spent anything on it. So operating cost is really low, even considering the gas. The pricing in Canada for this new model, I think, went too high now, though.
Yes, the price is high, but the base model is very well equipped, as you heard in our key standard features. But if you start looking at other body-on-frame trucks, the General Motors are the best sellers, period. They outsell everybody else. It's expensive out there to get something that competes with this.
And then a lot of times there's extra packages that you need to add as well to some of these other vehicles, where with Nissan, they actually don't have a lot of trims in Canada. In the US, it's priced really well. that lower starting price. Doesn't come with all the features that we get in Canada, but I would say that it's one of the least expensive in this segment. So you're getting a really good deal in the US, and I think with Canada, with all of those standard features, it's not bad for around $70,000.
Okay, now it's good to hear that you have an Armada. Is it 2008? Yeah, that's getting up there in age with no major issues. So basically, truck-based SUVs are reliable and great resale as well. So put that in your pipe. Smoke it.
We have this model in the Gulf states under the name of Nissan Patrol. It's a very popular SUV and known for being reliable and versatile at the same time. However, the only downside about it is the fuel consumption, as you mentioned. I'm wondering if Nissan is going to replace the V8 engine with the V6 turbo engine, just like Toyota did with its famous competitor, the Land Cruiser.
Well, I will trade you anytime the prices we pay for fuel here versus what you pay in the Gulf states in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Probably next to nothing. But yes, this thing is totally out of step when it comes to fuel economy. It's got a V8 engine. There's no cylinder management. It's got a 7-speed automatic. For example, the General Motors trucks, you get V8 engines or diesel, cylinder management, and a 10-speed automatic. And what is Ford offering?
Yeah, Ford has got the EcoBoost engine, which gets better fuel economy as well. So I think that's the key, is that Nissan is only offering one powertrain, and these competitors have a variety of powertrains, including diesel. We drove the Tahoe diesel, and I thought it was fantastic.
The big one is the new one, is the Sequoia, direct competitor to this, bigger than this, and a hybrid system, standard equipment. So this thing is out of step, and the people who can afford it live in the Middle East.
We put out a lot of content each week on the Motormouth YouTube channel, and it's super easy to find.
All you do is go to the YouTube search bar and type Motormouth, the name of the channel. Then the brand you're looking for, in this case it would be Nissan, and all of our videos pop up. It's that easy.
Does the second row slide so that it can compensate for some leg room for the third row? Surprisingly, no. What I do like about it is with the touch of a button, you can flip and fold and get yourself into the third row easily, but no sliding second row.
So it doesn't slide fore and aft. What it does have is the power-operated third row to recline. Now, obviously, they're using the same system you use to fold the seats down to enable that, but that's a cool thing to have if you're in the back. So, yeah, it's this thing's not perfect. But it serves a function.
And it's interesting because some people will buy these because they're buying them for the space. But if you compare it to something like the Pathfinder, this is 11 inches longer, but the Pathfinder offers over 2.5 inches more front row legroom. In the second row, this beats the Pathfinder with 5 inches more second row legroom. Third row, the Armada only offers 1/2 inch more space, and space behind the third row, it's pretty much even.
If you want to compare this to, say, an Atlas, an Atlas would be bigger pretty much in every way, or maybe a Telluride. You're basically buying the truckiness of this.
Well, we recently drove the Atlas, and the third row is actually
huge,
comfortable for an adult.
And now it's time for our hot topic. What's this one, Andrea?
I've always adored the Armada and its Infiniti counterpart. They're like royal chariots on the road. I wish Nissan would have updated the interiors to more modern feel in line with the Rogue and Pathfinder. I hear a lot in your videos that unibody and body on frame. What's the difference and which ones are better?
So the best way to describe the difference between a body on frame and unibody design is to go through some other Nissan products. So say you have a Nissan Altima sedan. That is a unibody, that's a car platform. Then they take those car platforms and turn them into vehicles like the Nissan Rogue and the Nissan Pathfinder. But ultimately underneath they're designed the same way. This is based more on what you would get like with a pickup truck, with the Nissan Titan, even though it isn't, it's a separate platform. But you take a pickup truck platform is traditionally what happens, and then they build an SUV on top. So you've got that rugged, real steel chassis at work. And what does that do, Andrea? It adds a lot of
weight.
Yep.
So one thing about a unibody design is that it's much lighter, so you get better fuel economy. I mean, it's obvious that not only is this a V8, but it's also a body on frame SUV, so the fuel economy isn't great. And also unibody design SUVs handle better. They're more refined. They have a quieter cabin. Although I have to say that Nissan has really insulated this cabin well for a body on frame truck. It's actually pretty quiet. This also has great ground clearance at 9.1 inches and the towing capacity, right?
Yeah, so even though it's not built on the Titan platform, it really is kind of like a pickup truck chassis underneath. So all the stuff that a pickup truck could typically do, a vehicle like this can do. The main thing really is towing.
Interestingly enough, Land Rover has come out with the Defender, which used to be a body on frame design, and they've changed it to unibody. And they actually say that it is one of their most capable vehicle that they have ever built. So it is possible to do it with a unibody design as well.
I think that the reality is that these are cheap to make, right? Because you're already using an existing chassis and you're just putting a different top hat on top.
Yeah.
That's why they do it. Over at Land Rover and Range Rover, those things are really spendy,
Yes.
so they've engineered it in there. You all buckled up?
I am.
Because we're going to do the fuel economy in a second. And more in our vital stats.
Let's start with pricing. We'll do Canada first and then we'll move on to the US. The base trim starts at just under $70,500 Canadian, and the top trim with the captain's chairs is just under $79,000 Canadian. In the US, the first two-wheel drive model starts at just under $50,000 US, and the top four-wheel drive model is just over $69,000.
Here's the fuel economy. 17.5 liters per 100 kilometers city, 12.9 on the highway. That's just 13 miles per gallon city, 18 miles per gallon highway. It can tow though 8,500 pounds and comes with a 3-year 60,000 kilometer or 36,000 mile warranty. So you like the idea of being able to tow as much as you possibly can and have all of this space. What else can you buy with a body on frame truck?
For your consideration, 4 vehicles for you to consider.
Up first is the Ford Expedition. It has a 3.5-liter EcoBoost engine with 380 horsepower and a starting price just under $70,000.
The Toyota Sequoia comes with the iForce Max hybrid powertrain, 437 horsepower and a starting price of just under $76,000.
The Chevrolet Suburban with a 5.3-liter V8, 355 horsepower and a starting price of just over $66,000.
Here's our used car alternative from CanadaDrives.ca. We chose a 2015 Nissan Armada Platinum Edition with 108,000 kilometers for $26,590. Click on the tab or the link in the description below to find more vehicles in this category from CanadaDrives.ca.
So there are 4 body-on-frame SUVs for you to consider.
Lightning round. Two things we like to see improved.
I really like the high commanding seating position in this.
I like the fact that they basically loaded it all up kind of for one price. There is an optional package, but the base model is good enough.
What I'd like to see in here is wireless Android Auto.
I'd like to see more technology with the engine to save fuel.
With gas prices at an all-time high, I'm not sure that I want to fill this up every week.
Now, those haters that say, who needs a truck like this? There are people that need a truck like this, and this one offers actually some value.
This video is brought to you by Canada Drives. Shop online for your next used vehicle and enjoy the convenience of to-your-door delivery and the confidence of a 7-day love it or return it guarantee. Visit CanadaDrives.ca to learn more.